all the participants and our today's faculty, Sri M. Kishore. Uh, Sri Kishore highway projects since 12th of September. Today is the sixth day of ongoing program. In last 5 days, we have covered model concession agreement for PP as well as EPC. In addition to that, we have already discussed on step-by-step procedure to handle dispute from conciliation to court. So today, Sri Kishore will cover the role and responsibility of authority and authority engineer or independent engineer in contract management. In that, he will discuss on the efficient method of contract administration, clarity of obligations and right, decision in time, management meetings. So I will request to the participant, please make it a two-way communication. Please ask your questions whenever you feel the difficulty during the presentation. However, at the end of the presentation, there will also be a question answer session. However, during the presentation also, you can also ask the questions with our faculty sir from with their permission also. Today also there will be a 15 minutes time break at around 11:15 to 11:30. So in that, all participants are not required to leave this meeting. However, they can take a rest or something other. So I will not take much more time. I request Sri M. Kishore ji to start his presentation as well as his experience with the participants. Thanking you.
Thank you very much, sir. Uh, Good morning, everyone. I see that some policy makers, decision makers, and officers across the country are there watching this program. And basically, many of you might be already implementing the contracts, and you know uh, the problems and other things already. But consider this as an orientation program if you are already into it. And what I request you is that you might be having some problems, some issues, some questions in your contracts because nobody is perfect. So we always have doubts and questions, and there must be some areas where you have stopped. Means I don't know what to do. Whom do I ask? So such kind of things, kindly note down and ask me whenever you associate last 24 years, and I'll be completing 25 next year. Before that, I was working with one company called Afcons, Asian Foundation Constructions, for 13 years. So these are the two companies where I worked. So I have a stable career, and we have around 50, 60 projects across the country, only in highways, but rest of the sectors are also there. And I look after all these design projects and supervision projects, quality, contract, everything. So I will be able to answer your problem, answer your queries if at all you ask any. Okay. With that, I'll go to the presentation. And what I'm going to do, there are two modules. One is module one, role and responsibilities of parties. So these parties all are three: authority, AIE, contractor, concessionaire, all the parties. So that is module one. And module two is contract management. So there will be a tea break in between. But I may cover one or two aspects of module two before tea break because module 2 requires attention and I may take more time. Though number of slides in module 2 are less, the content may be more. So I may take one or two aspects of module 2 before tea break and leave you. Otherwise, general organization is like this. So, and what I request, these are the aspects that I'll be covering in the contract administration part. If you have any question on this, any issue on your ongoing projects, kindly note down on this and you can ask me questions at the end of the session or whenever you want to, when I am covering it or even otherwise also. So these are the issues that you can look at. Now, the desired outcome of this session, as it is written under that, is efficient methods of contract administration. So this depends on what are our objectives. So the objectives, main objectives of anyone, any client is complete on time and within cost and with the desired quality. So these are the three important things. So how to achieve them? So with a view to doing that, we'll discuss on efficient methods. Then the most important thing that we should concentrate on is prevention of disputes and claims. Uh, Cost overrun, time overrun. These are the two main things. So I have written a paper on this in 2022. I will ask the organizers to circulate that paper also. It is just 6 pages, I think, but it has some ideas to prevent disputes and claims, which you can implement. Not easily, but certainly you can try to implement them. Union Minister Sri Gadkari ji nowadays is cooperation, coordination, and communication. So, just a moment, I have some funny things coming over. Yeah, just a moment, just a moment. I have some pop-ups coming and I want to close all the other windows so that they don't disturb us in the next, yeah, ready. Um, Yeah. So these three words, cooperation, coordination, and communication, these are very, very important. So if these are there among the parties, and then the decisions also can be on time. Management meetings, management, of course, is the owner. So frequent management reviews and follow-ups, they go a long way. Wherever the chairman or the managing director or the secretaries or anybody, ADG, DG, depending upon the chief engineer, when whoever is the head of the institution, if they take reviews and does a follow-up, it goes a long way. And of course, transparency is the key. When the top man is reviewing, if you don't flag the issues and if you don't tell them properly, you want to hide them, then it becomes difficult. So transparency is the key in management meetings. So these are the four heads that the organizers has given me to cover. I hope these things will be covered without headings. Okay. Now, module one, role and responsibilities of the parties. Now, how these contracts have evolved. First one, as you know, was item rate contract. And then we went to BOT because public and private participation to get some funds from private. And then the first one was BOT toll. Here, the bid parameter was the concession period. Means you want for tolling for 10 years, 15 years, 12 years, 13 years, 13.5 years. So that was the bid parameter. Then after that, depending upon the toll, then they started asking, the bid parameter was revenue share. How much will you share with me? 5%, 10%. So I know contracts where it was 48% revenue share. So that was the bid parameter. And if the toll is not adequate, then there was a parameter called grant. So how much grant do you want? The total project cost was being given, and how much grant do you want? And when it crossed 40%, it becomes difficult. So generally, 5%, 10%, up to 40%, the grant was allowed. Viability gap funding, as you know. Then if the toll is more, that is when the toll is less. If the toll is more, then like revenue share, the concessionaires were offering premium. So premium was the bid parameter with fixed concession period. Then there was another thing when all of these things fail, toll, pure toll fails, grant fails, then we were giving annuity. Annuity is the payment that we give every 6 months after completion of the constructions. So then for annuity also concessionaires were not coming because during the construction period, all the money was supposed to be invested by, incurred by the operator. So he doesn't have money. Banks were not giving. So then came the HAM model, hybrid annuity model. That means 40% of the cost of the project will be given during the construction, and 60% of the cost of the project was being given as annuity for 15 years. So that is how these models have evolved. When that is also not viable, then these people are not able to get that also, get loans and other things. Then we had come up with the EPC contract, where EPC means 100% will be provided by the company, client itself, the authority itself. So all the money will be. But there, the risk of design, the risk of certain things like earthwork, profile corrective course, and all those things, these risks are still with the contractor. Then the other two modes are OMT and TOT. So now even when it is called a BOT, then IE comes into picture, and when it is EPC, AE comes into picture. Of course, the contract is always between authority and the concessionaire, and independent engineer, he actually administers the contract between these two. That is the role of independent engineer. And there will be various other parties. Concessionaire will have an EPC contractor, and so many parties will be there. Lenders, independent engineer, design consultant, PMC consultant, project management consultant, proof consultant, safety consultant. So many people are involved in one BOT project. In EPC project, again, role of authority engineer to administer the contract between these two people, and there will be a design consultant, project management consultant, and by agreement, proof and safety consultants are also there. Now, when we are talking about the consultants, I'm sure the main idea is to understand what is the role of independent engineer and authority engineer in this session. So, what do we look at as performance criteria of the consultants? The first thing is they have to adhere to the provision of the consultancy agreement. Whatever is written in the consultancy agreement, that they have to follow anyway. But second thing is they have to notify the authority and the concessionaire whenever there is a non-adherence to the provisions of the concession agreement. They can't keep quiet. They can't say, Mr. Contractor, you know everything what you are supposed to do. Mr. Authority, you also know everything that is there in the agreement. Why should I tell you? Both of you are aware. It's not like that. Independent consultant, I mean IE or AE, has to notify the authority on time. That is the second thing. And he has to adhere to the timelines given in the concession agreement or EPC agreement for whatever, say, design reviews or notifying whatever timeline is given in the agreement, that has to be followed. Any of these things, if he is not following, that is a non-performance. Failure to adhere to any of the above constitute non-performance of the consultants. So this is the So that is the first thing that we have to understand. So when, as a consultant, they have to follow this. So as authority, we have to see that whether this fellow with the gentleman is following this or not. The main objectives of the consultant during the thing is design review, because in BOT contracts or EPC contract, the design responsibility is with them. So the first part is to do the design review. Then of course, construction supervision and also O&M during the construction I mean, maintenance during the construction and O&M during the operation. Then quality assurance. So it's the difference is it's not quality control. Quality control will be done by the person who is executing the work. Quality control means uh, carrying out tests at the frequencies. Those are specified in the contract or in the manuals and codes. But quality assurance is making those plans as to when it has to be tested, by whom, at what frequency, and that is basically we have quality plans. So that document is called quality assurance document. So we have to see that the arrangements are made and planning is done. That is quality assurance as IE and AE. Contract administration is the subject of the session anyway. There are three periods: development period, construction period, and maintenance period. Of course, development period will not be there in EPC. By definition, it will not be there. During the development period, there are certain responsibilities of the concessionaire. We will see in the next slide. Now, generally, these are various responsibilities, as I said. So, in development period, design review is done, and in construction period, so many responsibilities are there. In operation period, monitoring of O&M, then evaluation of costs, divestment. Divestment means closing of the contract. Dispute resolution will be there in any way, in any. Now let us come to the role in development period. Now what is development period? From signing of the concession agreement to declaration of appointed date. Of course, both the parties are responsible for doing this job. Now, first, of course, you know that bidding, then evaluation, selection of the person, and then we award. Who awards? Authority awards. It is the responsibility of the authority. They give the LOA. Then performance security is submitted by the concession engineer, a concessionaire, and they sign the agreement. After signing the agreement, two things are there. One is financial closure. It is true even for the HAM also, the hybrid annuity model, not only BOT. So financial closure means tying in the funds. Whatever funds are required, they have to approach a bank. There may be a lead bank. Nowadays, there are consortiums. So many banks will be there in one consortium. And that loan agreement has to be signed and that has to be brought to the client and then they have to submit it. This is our financial plan. So much is our equity and so much is going to be the debt that is to be provided by the lenders. And if at all there is any grant or anything, equity support, they call it, those things also will be mentioned. So this financial closure has to be achieved on the part of concessionaire. Condition precedents, they are, that means precedent to declaration of appointed date. They are the responsibilities of both the parties. From the client side, uh, they have to procure the clearance, environmental clearance. If there are any ROBs, those ROBs have to be cleared. The general arrangement drawings have to be cleared, like that. Then concessionaire, of course, basically he has to achieve the financial closure, but he also would have some other responsibilities. And then the appointed date is declared. Then now, once it is, of course, we are still in the development period. The primary responsibility of authority during the development period is providing vacant access. Vacant access should be understood properly. It is not just declaration of 3A, 3D, 3D, something like that. It is, there should not be any hindrance in the site. The contractor should be able to put his machinery and start working. There comes, that is called vacant access. There comes the difference between these two words, encumbrances and hindrances. Encumbrance is a legal one. That means that is there is a court case attached to that, and or you are not able to enter legally. That is called an encumbrance. Encumbrance may be removed, but there could be some hindrance over there. It can be an electrical pole, water pipeline, tree, anything. So all these things have to be removed. That is called vacant access. That's what we have to understand. During the development period, the authority also has to get clearances from irrigation, clearances from R&B, PRED for the underpasses and other structures if we are having anything on the minor roads. Okay. Uh, whether we do it through DPR consultants or we do it ourselves, but this responsibility is with us. It is not with the concessionaire. This presentation, copy of this presentation will be provided to you, so the details can be read. Now, during the development period, what does concessionaire do? He has to procure applicable permits, whether it is contractor or concessionaire. These permits are necessary. Whether a development period is there or not, even contractor has to secure these permits. Explosives, then for establishing plants, from pollution control board or panchayats, we have to get clearances. Their permission to draw water from ponds, and we have to get it from state government. Permission for extracting soil, muram, whatever material that is going to be incorporated into the project. It may be from MOEF, depending upon the area, 5 hectares, 10 acres, depending upon the area, we need to even get clearance from MOEF, panchayats, forest departments, etc. But mind you, these have to be procured before appointed date. This is very, very important in the sense that tomorrow when he is going for claim, in one of the project, it so happened that after the appointed date, there were certain uh, changes in the procedures for securing the MOEF clearance or permission for this. So they started putting it on us, on the authority, that this is not attributable to me. I could not get it because they changed the procedures and all. But they changed it after the appointed date. So when it is after the appointed date, we told that we can't give you any extension of time. You should have done it before the appointed date. Now, after procurement of permits, they are also supposed to procure the insurances. Various insurances will be there. We can see in the document. This is also concessionaire's responsibility. Then during the development period itself, the concessionaire is supposed to do the topographic surveys, prepare the designs, drawings, and everything, and then submit it to the authority. And of course, the independent engineer or authority, independent engineer, if it is there. So then the role of IE during the development period is do the design review. The most important thing is people think that it is only review of designs and drawings. No. First of all, design review starts with the adequacy of provisions. So we have to review the schedules, identify the ambiguities, deviations, and if any COS is required or not. This is very, very important. This is a part of design review. We'll go in detail. Then verify compliance to the requirements. I told you about permits. So did he take policies, insurance policy? Did he take? Then also IE has to verify whether the ROW and vacant access has been provided by the authority because he is responsible for both from the concessionaire side and also the authority side. So is it given? He has to maintain records, not that he will go and get the ROW cleared. And clearances from other departments, whether they are there or not, like for irrigation structures. If there are big bridges, Ganga and all that, whether there are clearances available. Then now design review. So here the most important thing is design risk is with the concessionaire or EPC contractor because they may be redesigning the whole thing. The drawings that we give may be from feasibility or maybe from DPR, but they will be redesigning, and so the design risk is with them. So what we do when the risk is with them, we only declare some things that it is within the scope and it complies with the specifications and standards, something like that. Now, design review, as I told you, it is not only the drawings. So, and first of all, adequacy of the provisions in the contract that we have seen in the earlier slide. Now, here it is studies and investigations. These reviews also have to be done. We should not say that, no, it's not my responsibility. It's, of course, it is his responsibility. Now, what are the various things? Topo, geotechnical, hydrological, traffic studies, and border areas. Why I have highlighted this in one of the projects somewhere in Jharkhand or in Bihar, I don't remember exactly. So after 1 year of executing around 22 well foundations, then the authority engineer was appointed. When the authority engineer came to site, he was reviewing hydrological studies and hydraulic studies, and then he said that the discharge that was considered is less, and the scar depth is also less. Then the foundations are above the actual requirement. So all that he has found out. So appointment of the authority engineer or independent engineer at the right time is very, very important. But of course, the DPR consultant could justify that the hydrology, the HFL and the discharge, whatever they have considered is appropriate. So they went ahead. So it's very important. Everything has to be seen. Now, review of designs. Of course, there are various designs. It's not only structural design, so geometry design, pavement, structural, RE wall, facilities, all these things have to be reviewed. I'm quickly going through because you might be already knowing them. Then review of drawings. drawings are not only structural drawings, but highways, plans, profiles, and there will be junction drawings also. These people, generally the concessionaires or the contractors, they put this to the end of the contract, so they are never ready. So it should not be like that. All the components should be designed together in the beginning of the project and during the development period more so. So that designs are in place, land is in place, and the contractor can simply go ahead. Then structures, of course, bridges, flyovers, underpasses, all this stuff. Miscellaneous facility designs also are important. Bus bay design cannot be left to the end, and any other like rest areas, safety consultants. And another thing is the crossroad profile is also important. Some of you are from the state departments, and you might be having uh, some uh, uh, some plans for development of the crossroad, but the main highway when we are doing the crossroad development, if it is not considered, then we may be providing too little clearance. Suppose 5.5 meter is required. We have provided 5.5 meter, but there is a 1 meter increase in the crossroad profile, and the clearance will get reduced to 4.5. So it is very important. In one of the cases in Andhra Pradesh, when we were doing this, the state department has put around 35 lakhs of penalty on NHAI for wrongly designing this. Then review of other documents. This is also to be done in development period. We have to see that this gentleman submits all these things during the development period. And as authority, we have to see that IE is in place, first of all, during the development period. So construction methodology, method statements, QA procedures, what they're going to do. And the most important thing is review of construction program. If you take even this one idea from this session to your life, I'll be very, very happy and I'll feel that, yes, my purpose is served. We have to review the construction program, and I will discuss in detail as to how to review it, what are the qualities of the construction program, how it will be useful in the course of the construction that we will discuss. Then review of contracts, EPC contract, O&M contract, like that. See what happens, these people are very notorious. Sorry to say so. I'm talking about concessionaires. So they actually say 70-30 or 80-20, 80% debt and then 20% equity, like that. If it is there, they structure the financial in such a manner that the 20% amount they draw in the beginning of the project itself, their equity they draw in the beginning of the project itself. So whatever they have put, they got it. Now the debt servicing and toll, so they have nothing to do with the project, seriously speaking. The debt servicing will be done by the toll or any other revenue that is going to come. It may be annuities and all. So now they also the way they do this is through EPC contracts. Generally, the concessionaire and the EPC contractor are same. In fact, two people come together and make an SPV, and the SPV gives the EPC contract to the same themselves. So we have to review this EPC contract very much, and they load them up front. Say the wearing course say constitutes around 45% of the contract. They put earthwork as 45% so that they will be able to give that money to the EPC contractor. They will be able to take out the money through EPC contractor early. So these things are very important. So we have to focus on review of the EPC contract. These things come to our help when we are doing termination payments and other things. Then other reviews, setting out, we have to go and see exactly whether the GPS pillars are there, traverse pillars are there, and TBMs are there every 250 meters. And the most important thing that I have seen is that we don't check matching with adjacent packages. In a very important expressway project where we were doing, of course, see, I can only give examples from my own projects. So if I am telling something, generally it is from my projects. So we found that those people, they did not check what is happening in the junction. So there was a mismatch. So you can understand what can happen. If it is a simple road, it was okay, but it was exactly split at the structure. So one structure was in one package and the approach was in another package, and it was so difficult for me to correct it. So it is very important initially to understand whether the levels are okay and the alignment are matching Alignment is matching at the packages, at the joining of the packages. Then we have to do the review of schedules for adequacy of the documents, and we have to freeze the scope. See, this is freezing the scope is very important in avoiding time overrun. This I will tell you towards the end how it goes. So we have to review the schedules and we have to review this. We have to freeze the scope. Parallelly, we have to review the work front also. This is very, very important. We focus on something else instead of giving work front to him. Review of establishment of laboratories, calibration plant and equipment, and also we have to see the labor establishments, labor camps and all, whether he is having facilities, all those things. That is also very, very important. The people who have seen the entire cycle of the projects, and if you have gone through the claims of the contractors, then you would understand why we should see the camps and why we should see exactly where the plants are and whether they are in working condition. They are just dumped because they don't have scope elsewhere. They have just dumped them. Ultimately, they will charge the idling and other things on us. Another important thing is we have to check whether they are having adequate capacities as per agreement. Agreement says 200 ton per hour, and they might have provided 100 ton per hour. So those things are required to be checked. Each line, whatever I have provided in the slide, is important. It would be useful if you go over this slides after the program and even afterwards. Now, you know that Schedule A, either in concession agreement or EPC contract agreement, Schedule A tells about existing assets. So we have to review them, review the inventory of road. These are the things anyway. This will be there in Schedule A, and Schedule B consists of upgradation proposals. It may be road and it may be structures. So then Schedule C, it gives facilities, whether it is upgradation or new, and Schedule D is specifications and references. So these are the documents for review. And what are we supposed to do the review? The first thing, consultant has to confirm the inventory in Schedule A. Whatever is given in Schedule A, it is correct, sir. No missing, no wrong interpretation. When we are telling that it is 2 meter culvert, it is only 1 meter, or instead of slab, it is only pipe. Whatever, we have to confirm the inventory in Schedule A. We have to confirm the proposals in Schedule B and C also. Whether TCS, it's correct, TCS has been applied, widening scheme, left, right, and concentric, whatever, whether it is properly given or not. So exact scheme, we have to confirm. If location of underpasses, it could be plus minus 1 kilometer, half kilometer, 10 meters, whatever. Then bus base and other facilities. Bus base, they are provided at a place where they will not be used at all. We have to put the bus base and bus shelters at a place where they will be useful. Then additional requirements, if there are any, that also. So ultimately, we have to record the deviations in location, sizes, and specification during the review. If we don't do this, and if we keep it, if we defer it to some other time, then we are only going to suffer as authority and also the contractor. Identify ambiguities if there are any ambiguities, and identify the change of scope. This should be done during the development period itself. That is what I am trying to say. Even before the appointed date, or at least within 3 months of appointed date or commencement date, then the project will be in shape. Contractors thinks whatever I want to dump, I will just dump, and it is I is responsible, A is responsible to review. And if they don't review, if they don't approve, I will go ahead with the construction. This kind of a thing should not happen. So people should sit together and agree on their design philosophy and the review methodology. Experts must see the site and discuss observations and finalize, because with every site is different. VUP may not be VUP, a simple VUP everywhere. It might be having drainage problems. The crossroad may have different issues. All the water might be coming over there only. We have to check whether it is below the existing ground or above the ground, whether it is on crust, whether the location is proper or not. Anything. Ultimately, it is important that experts should see the site and then only review the submissions. The most important thing is that IE has to review and comment, not to approve. Even in the case of AE also, they are not supposed to approve. There could be places where AE has to approve, but generally it is so. Because concessionaire is solely responsible for the designs, irrespective of the approvals by the ER authority. You might be already knowing, even if the authority approves the drawings, designs, even if the IE approves the drawings, designs, it is the responsibility of the concessionaire and EPC contractor to see that they comply with the specification standards and codes, all that. So that is the reason why IE has to only review and comment and not to approve. And what he is supposed to put, the stamp he is supposed to put there is designs are compliant to scope and specifications, or designs are not compliant to scope and specifications. That is what is the certification that he is supposed to give. And one most important caution that I would like to give is there are failures in the structures, collapses, and all. So the important thing is in EPC, there is a design director, there is a proof consultant, there is a safety consultant, and after that it comes to the AE. Why there could be any design problem when it passes through so many? Because they really don't do the thing. They simply dump the designs on AE, and AE is supposed to clear. And when he clears, all these people sign. So as authority, we have to ensure that these people are in place, all these people are in place, and they do their, and they're different. You may be surprised. Even only one person may be discharging all these responsibilities. For namesake only they are there. So we have to see that they are different from each other and they discharge their obligations. And proof of such discharge should be verified by us. Yeah. So that is so far as design stage, development stage is concerned. If we quickly go to construction period, of course, we have got quality monitoring. That is very, very important. Whether IE is having only 2 people or 4 people, he's responsible for 100% of quality. Whether he checks only 10% or 20% or 50%, he is responsible for 100% of quality. Those things are there, which are very, very important. And in fact, after BOT and APC, when they have come in, the quality has deteriorated only for that reason. This is my view. Then progress monitoring is the next responsibility. We can't keep quiet. This is where we have to compare it with construction program continuously and see whether we are going as per the program. Then safety and maintenance of the existing road, whatever is that is important. And of course, the safety of the constructed road is also important. You see, they put the wearing courses and they don't put the pavement marking. Imagine on a 4-lane road or a 6-lane road, there's a black top and they don't have curb marking, they don't have pavement marking, MBCBs and all, and lighting. And if people are, the traffic is left on that road, it is at loss. So so after construction also or during construction also, the safety is very, very important. Then contract administration. So these are the 4 responsibilities. Now quality framework, quality assurance, who does it? Concessionaire. Quality control, that is testing and all, who does it? EPC contractor. What does IE or AE do? Quality monitoring. He reviews the results. Of course, he also participate in testing 10% or 25% as per the agreements. He does that. So but 100% program will be given to him. He chooses 10% or 25%, whatever, and then he attends to them, and those must be held for his review. The contractor cannot go ahead all by himself without waiting for IE. And there are monthly inspections. See, unfortunately, if you go through the documents, it says you have to do an inspection at least once in a month. That kind of a language is there. So at least once in a month, you can understand it's only an audit. It is not a daily inspection. Now, defects and deficiencies have to be identified and we have to issue monthly inspection reports. But there are 4 tools for monitoring important tools in quality monitoring. One, as you know, is RFIs. These have to be approved. The ones which we do not witness, they need not be approved. Only those things which have been witnessed shall be approved. Then that is not the only tool. We go to site and we see that that RFI is not given to us. We are not supposed to see that, but something wrong is going on. So we have to give a site instruction. We can give a site instruction over there. It can be in the form of a letter. It can be, we can write in the register there, so that all the instructions given are there in one book. So we can go to the camp, simply write our instruction and come back, so that we can refer back also. Letters, they are filed and you may know where they are and all. So that is one way of doing the site instructions. Then you have got monthly inspection report that we are supposed to deliver as per the agreement. But the most important thing is the NCR. Now NCRs being indiscriminately used. So when to issue this and how to dispose this is very important. Now, when are we supposed to give NCRs? When there is a problem of procedures, procedural issues are there. It may be, say, a paver is supposed to be used, but whereas a grader is being used, a batching plant is supposed to be used, but a drum mix plant is being used, like that. So at that point of time, you have to correct it. Even for curing, suppose he is supposed to use hessian cloth and watering and all, but he is using a curing compound, or vice versa, or he doesn't do anything. Whatever, there are procedural issues, so we'll have to give that. Then repeated mistakes. He is doing same mistake on and all every time. So it can be anything in any procedure. So then also we should be able to we should issue NCRs. But the most important thing is defects in irreversible works like concrete, asphalt, like that. So because you can't do anything about it. Honeycombing has come, or after the casting of the concrete, the levels, the workmanship, that is wrong, or it fails in compressive strength. So at that time, it has to be put on record by way of an NCR, and it must be maintained separately. Similarly, asphalt works, asphalt has been done, and after that, we see that there is segregation, raveling, or crushing of aggregates, or the density itself is found to be deficient. It is deficient in density. So those are the times. So we should not give on small things. Now, one important thing I want to mention to you here is, so in most of the works where vigilance goes and vigilance tests, what does it test? There's a 100-kilometer project and they take 2 or 3 cores, and those cores are deficient in either thickness or in gradation or in bitumen content or in density. Okay. So they will say simply after that, if they're deficient, they'll say that, yep, this project was not done properly and he must be taken to task. And it becomes very difficult to dispose those vigilance observations. Now try to understand the heterogeneity of materials. It may be in pavement layers or structural components. Suppose in asphalt, what happens? Those 4 components, say 40 mm, 20 mm, 12 mm, and 6 mm dust, and even filler, they don't have uniformity. And then they are picked and then they are dumped into the silos, and how they mix. And when they are dumping from the silo to the truck, you see that there's a cone. So the larger aggregates, they spread on the slopes, and then in the pavers also it gets segregated. With so much, is it really possible that you have a uniformity of all the properties? Maybe thickness, all that. Is it possible? Let us take 1 meter just for the sake of it. And in 1 meter square, you take some 8 to 10 samples. All 10 samples will be exhibiting different properties. You can check for the sake of it and understand. So this is very important. How sampling has to be done. There are codes. Progress monitoring, it's very important that we monitor the progress and monitor the milestones, when exactly it is happening, and then whether this fellow will be able to achieve the milestone or not. We have to be very watchful. We should not think that it is contractor's responsibility. We have to be very watchful in this, either as IE or even authority also. And then issue notices of slow progress, then cause a revision of the construction program, and recommend extension of time for completion before expiry of the said milestone. This is very, very important. We should not keep processing the thing. We should not initiate it first after the expiry first. At least 1 to 2 months before we have to process and see that it is approved before the said milestone. That is a healthy way of handling extension of times. Monthly progress reports have to be issued, but contractor, he will be submitting because he is mandated to submit contractor MPRs. If we don't read, if we don't review, you know what will happen? He will be stating wrong status of hindrances. He will be stating, giving a different account of his equipment and manpower, and we don't see it, we don't verify it. And at the end of the project, if he has to claim, then he will use these reports as support. If we don't deny them, if we don't review them and deny them, we stand, we lose. We stand to lose. So that is very, very important. We have to review the MPR submitted by the contractor and concessionaire. Now, monitoring the safety of works, users and workers. See here, suspension. This is a very, very important thing that I wanted to tell you. Suspension of work is generally when the safety of works is threatened. So, if at all there is a quality lapse, we are not able to suspend the works. We should be able to suspend the works even when there is a quality lapse. And that too when there is a problem in irreversible products. So, when we suspend the project, then only we can control them properly. Now, it is O&M period because we are dealing with the responsibility of the IE and AE. So I just wanted to cover all the periods. So we have seen the development period, then we have seen the construction period. Now we are coming to the O&M period. That is after the construction, after COD is issued or after provisional completion certificate is issued. Now, the first thing that we have to see is maintenance manual. What is the maintenance manual? In the sense, what kind of defect, what kind of mitigation measure he is going to propose, and what is the kind of timeline he is committing to us. There is a schedule, the schedule of maintenance, schedule for maintenance. Whether he is doing it like that or not, every pothole has to be closed within 24 hours. But if it is important and of safety consideration, then it has to be immediately done. So like that, there will be many clauses in the agreement. Those have to be properly incorporated in the maintenance manual. So what is the defect? What is the mitigation measure? And what is the timeline? And then how it will be verified and all that. I think there is an app now. I forgot the name of the app. When I attended the Manthan program in Bangalore, they have released that app where even the public probably is able to take a snap of that and then post it. And when it is rectified, the contractor is supposed to host the same thing, host the photograph of that against that. So this we have been doing at isolated level, project level, but now this has become a national level monitoring system. After that, we have to, this is the first thing, whether he has a maintenance manual and whether it is as per the requirements of the agreement. Second thing is annual maintenance program. Now, what I'm trying to say here, say you might be thinking why he's spending time on this line. When you go on the road, you sometimes see that it is a good maintenance, sometimes it is bad maintenance. Sometimes you see people on the road and sometimes you don't see anybody on the road, right? So now, what is he committing? Uh, Suppose if there's a pothole, then he will attend. If there is rutting, he will attend. If there's a crack, he will attend. But what about the median plantation, maintenance of the median plantation, and any problem with the shoulders, slopes, cutting of the wild growth in the slopes, and removal of the garbage in drains, or removal of the openings of the clearing the openings of the culverts and all. So there should be a regular way of doing this. So he should have a plan. He should say that in 6 months, I will be visiting the entire road once. So I have 20 people on this, 20 people on this. They are actually they are spread over like this. So he should have some resource allocation, and we should be able to see them every day, cutting of the median plantation, trimming of the median plantation, like that. So it is very, very important to see what he has and what are the resources. So whenever we go to the site, we should be able to see those resources. They cannot be only on the paper, right? Then we have to visit on a monthly basis and identify defects and deficiencies, and it should be as per the warrants given in the schedule. So far as the time period concerned, if there is a functional overlay requirement, it can be done in 6 months, whatever is done. Then we have to levy damages in case of default. So we should not be light on them. These damages have to be levied on a monthly basis. At the end of the month, we have to visit the site, and then we have to uh, tell him these are the damages. Then closure of lanes, if there is a closure, there is a reduction in annuity or something. So wherever this is applicable, we have to see that these are monitored. And then inspection before divestment or termination is also a task. Now comes the module 2. It is 10:52 and 11:15 we have the break. So 7 plus 15, around 20 minutes will be there. So we will deal two aspects. One is change of scope and second is change in law. So we are on time. Contract administration, as I told you, module 2 is contract administration, and these are the items. See, most of you know what they are, but most of you face problems also in dealing with them. So in what areas you face problems, we have to see. And I'm trying to save some time for the questions and answers in the last 10-15 minutes. So don't disappoint me by being silent at the end. I'm trying to chase time. So now change of scope, change in law, force majeure, construction program, extension of time. We will try to spend a lot of time on these aspects, completion certificate, financial aspects. Don't think that it is only auditors who are supposed to do. We have to see the financial aspect. Disputes and claims. We will see three types of claims and three reasons basically, and how to avoid them. Then now change of scope. We will deal change of scope and change in law before. Now, uh, change of scope. First of all, IE has to confirm or AE has to confirm if it is a COS. That is the first thing, whether it is a COS or not, before seeing anything else. Notification of the need for a COS, it can be done by anybody. It can be done by contractor, concessionaire, or authority.
ಅದೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ದು ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Yeah. So notification can be done by anybody. Then change of scope notice has to be given. See, in NHI, in ministry, in various places, this word is forgotten. This word, in fact, they don't care about it in a sense. In principle approval, some sort of those words are used, but we should use the proper words. So finally, change of scope notice has to be given. Then who has to give? This is also important. Authority is supposed to give, but what authority does? It says IE can give, AE can give. I think it should not be the case. Now, when notification is notified, I mean, when the need is notified, change of scope notice is supposed to be given by preparing preliminary estimates, and then we seek approval. Without estimates, there cannot be a change of scope notice. That is important. At the time of change of scope notice, drawings may not be there, detailed designs may not be there, but still we have to do some preliminary estimates and then seek approval of the authority. Then once change of scope notice is issued, then we have to prepare detailed designs, drawings, and then prepare estimates, and then we should issue the COS, we should submit for approval of the COS order. Now, if there is a difference between preliminary estimate and detailed estimate, then you are going to have a problem. So it is good. We should always see that more or less things are done in detail at change of scope notice so that there is minimum change. So this is how it is going to be. Now, what is a COS? What are different types of COS? One is addition of a new facility. When there's a new facility, it's a COS, which is not there in either Schedule B or Schedule C. Then deletion of an existing facility. Suppose the PUP is there and we don't want the PUP there. We only want a plain road. That is also a COS, negative COS. Modification of an existing facility. PUP is upgraded to a VUP or a VUP is reduced to PUP or whatever. Change of location. Now, this is a very popular thing. So even if there is a change of location, people are trying to issue change of scope notice. The whole problem is how they are doing it. So if there is a negative change of scope, say this one PUP to VUP or VUP to PUP, what they are doing is negative change of scope will be done by using Schedule H, and the positive COS will be done using current SOR, and they are creating problems and creating disputes. So there should be clarity. So in change of location, only if it increases the length of approaches or area of RE wall, and that too grossly, there may be a chance of giving a COS for change of location. Otherwise, till now I have not given anything. Only now somebody during conciliation they are asking, why don't you check this? I told it is too much, sir. Change of location in a plain terrain, whether it is here or whether there, anywhere, it should not have a change of scope. Now, assessment. This is where we have problems, all of us. First of all, whether it is a COS is a problem. Second is how to assess it. SOR applicable to period of execution should be positive COS. Whenever it is identified, we have identified it. But after that, it will take around 3 months, 4 months to get it approved. After that, it takes 1 year. So the midpoint of that should be actually considered, and that SOR should be applied on the positive COS. But that SOR is not in place today. Whatever is in place today is the past SOR. So in fact, it is good that there should be a price multiple for this, and there should be a correction for a positive COS depending upon the midpoint and the SOR applicable at the midpoint of the execution, period of execution. But otherwise, current SOR is in practice. We just apply current SOR. SOR applicable at mid date of tenure of contract for negative COS. Suppose there is a 3-year contract. Scheduled date is say 2020, and the completion date is 2023. So we get to 2021, and whatever SOR is applicable in 2021, apply it to all the negative COS items, because that is the way he might have structured the contract. So we could do this. So I have applied this in many projects, and they have there was a dispute, but ultimately they have accepted that that would be that way. But otherwise, they are telling in NHA at least that both for positive SOR, positive COS and negative COS, it should be current. Then EPC works to be based on SOR, and deletion on account of ROW to be deleted as per Schedule H. In the sense, if we are not able to give right of way to him, and because of that, we have to delete something. At that point of time, we have to use the percentages given in Schedule H for deletion. That is the idea for this Schedule H. But if there is a modification as per that should be done as per SOR. Suppose a PUP is converted into VUP. So we estimate the PUP as per SOR. We estimate as per VUP as per SOR, and we find the difference, and that will be the change of scope. So this is the main dilemma in COS works. Now, how to?
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, BUP is converted into PUP, then this has to be calculated based on SOR.
You are right. I am also telling the same thing. Modification as per SOR.
Sir, when in any case, if any PUP is removed and in place of PUP road is constructed. This is a
Yeah,
modification or deletion, sir?
it's a deletion, but in any case, uh, we do it as modification. But if it's a simple deletion, we can go as per schedule there.
Sir, in both cases, the price will be somewhat different, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, for example, if we are not constructing any bridge,
Hmm.
but on site we are constructing road in place of bridge, then this is a modification of schedule B from bridge to road.
Hmm.
Then negative cost of bridge should be calculated on SOR or schedule H, sir.
So that is the question. That is that. Anyway, bridge cannot be removed simply because bridge has a stream. Bridge has, unless the DPR is done badly. See, generally what we do is, if there is a simple deletion and if it is due to ROW, then we do it as per schedule H. So in your case, a bridge is being deleted because of a problem with the authority or because of a problem with the site, then it should be deleted as per schedule H. Only in case of modification. Modification, as I told you, PUP to EUP, VUP to PUP, our width is being it is being widened, it is being the height is being increased or whatever. In case of modification only, we go as per SOR. Let this be like this. Clear deletion on account of authority, schedule H. There is a modification, it will be SOR. PUP to where PUP is there, that PUP is removed and road is there. Now you try to understand. This road was there when PUP is there also. Over the approaches, road was there. So it's actually like that. It's not a modification as such. So there we simply use schedule.
But on top of PUP, we are only giving somewhat bituminous layer, and in place of road we are constructing, we are giving earthwork, GSB, WMM, DVM, BC. Contractor saying is that this is a modification.
It's only a small width, PUP 7 meters,
Sir,
even if it is a VUP 12 meters. But whereas the approach is 200 meters, 300 meters, where the road work is same more or less. So anyway, this is how I am following everywhere, and it is going on like that. So we can go to specific issues if at all you have some.
sir, can we say like that if any scope is deleted due to only of ROW, then we will go for schedule H, and any other reason we will go from SOR?
No,
No, sir.
no. Other reason means what?
Other
Other
reason,
reason.
Mr. Authority is saying that these culverts are not required at this location because there is no water flow.
Right. So that is not the problem of the contractor. That is the problem of the authority.
Sir.
So whenever there is a problem of the authority and there is a schedule H, it should be done as per schedule H.
Sir, but at site we are deleting, actually on site there are 10 culverts of 2 by 2 and 10 culverts of 3 by 3. On schedule H, all the culverts are having same rate, but we are deleting culverts of 3 by 3. Then contractor, the bigger size of culverts are deleting and smaller size culverts has been constructed, then how can we take the same rates for all the culverts, sir?
See, when bigger culverts are being deleted and smaller culverts are being constructed, it is a modification.
Okay,
So
sir.
let us try to understand it that way. We can go to specifics. If your project has something, we can interact and then we'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
for
sir.
that question. Then execution of COS work. It is 11:05 and we have 10 more minutes. First of all, when COS should be commenced only after receiving COS order, we have problems. He commences work before and then afterwards authority does not give COS order and he goes into disputes. Then 20% advance is given, that you know. Then interim payments are claimed through RA bills, and IE has to recover advance in monthly RA bills, and they have to pay as per actual quantities. But the most important thing is reduce the percentage of negative COS works in each bill. Suppose a PUP is replaced by a VUP and the result is no reverse. A VUP is no there is a negative component and there is a positive component at the same location, and that negative component is say 20%. So each bill we have to see that 20% is deducted so that we are consistent with the COS order given. And there is savings if we are deleting. If the authority reduces any component from scopes, then concessionaire need not give 100% savings. He can give lesser savings as per the agreement. It may be 80%, it may be 90% as per the agreement. Then the last item before T is change in law. Now, what is change in law? These are various situations. One is a new enactment of a new Indian law. So GST, that is a new modification, royalty or seigniorage. These, when there is a modification of rates and other things, it becomes even somewhere seigniorage, the methods have been changed. So much percentage over royalty will be paid as seigniorage, something like that. So there's a modification. Then commencement of any Indian law, this is the way it is written in the contract, but this is as good as new Indian law in my view. Change in the interpretation. If at all a court has given a judgment on a specific thing, if that also can be taken. Now, minimum wages, I am facing one specific case in one project where they told, sir, minimum wages have abnormally increased in my project of say 3 years or 4 years, and you have to give me change in law. And I'm in actually a dilemma. But he brought some interpretations, he brought some judgments. Even if judgment is there, it should be expressed and explicitly given that minimum wage if it is increasing, it may decrease. So there is no correspondence between the actual retail rate in the site to change in the excise duty. So with that condition, of course, I have denied it, but there is a problem like this. So this is how the change in law is considered. Now royalties, change in royalty also is a change in law, and we have been giving. And GST, of course, we have dealt it. Now I just want to have this one slide before the tea break. You may be seeing that GST is not my lookout, some auditor will see, but we need to understand the basics. We have to take the total contract, and from that, we have to isolate taxable items, particularly material, equipment, services, whatever is there, we have to isolate them. Taxable items in the sense, in pre-GST regime, some of these materials, equipments and all, they were levied with these taxes. These taxes were levied. Excise duty, central sales tax. Central sales tax is levied on the materials procured from other states. Suppose I am working in Andhra and I'm working in Telangana, but I am getting steel from Andhra. So I have to pay central sales tax. In the earlier regime, input VAT and output VAT, these things are also were there in pre-GST regime. So there was a regular assessment and there was a composite assessment. What is meant by composite assessment? They don't want to go into all these things. Contractor doesn't want to go into all these things. So at that time, he can pay 4% of the whole project as taxes. So that was a composite. It can be 1%, whatever. Regular means now what are the materials used, what should be the tax of all these things, and then what is the output tax, what is the difference, then whether what I have to pay, all that. So NHAI has given different formats for these two, for regular and composite assessment. Now in GST regime, what is happening? Most of you might know what is happening in GST regime, but still I would tell you. If there is a EPC contract and it is say 1,000 crores, straight away on 1,000 crores, he is supposed to pay 12% as output GST on that. In earlier regime, so earlier regime in the sense up to some date in 2022. 12% we were paying. That means 120 crores he has to straight away pay to the department. 120 crores. Now it has increased to 18%. So now he is supposed to pay 180 crores without talking. But that is called output tax. What is input credit? He is going to a steel factory, a steel outlet, and he's procuring steel. He's getting cement. He's getting various other materials, expansion joints, bearings, and various other materials. And there he is paying GST to those people. Whatever GST he is paying to them, he can actually claim it as I don't have to pay 120. I don't have to pay 180. I have already paid some 50 crores of tax GST to these people in securing these materials. That is input credit, and he pays the balance as output tax. That is called paying in credit and paying in cash. So we assess all these things and then we say taxes payable during GST regime minus pre-GST tax liability. This is the change in law. If anybody has specific questions, you can ask me after the tea break on this. Okay. Uh, I I think we can break for the tea. I request the organizers to declare it. change in law. Now we go to force majeure. Now, force majeure, there are three types of force majeure events. One is a political event, second is an indirect political event, and third is a non-political event. All of you, rather all of us, I would say, have dealt with these things during the past few years. The the latest political event that we have dealt was demonetization, because it was uh, promulgated by the central government. It as a change in law, or it was uh, that is a political event. No non-political event we are dealing now. That is act of God, our COVID. Then any flood we are taking as a non-political event. Then local strikes, they are non-political event. But indirect political event is an industry-wide strike. Like trucks go on strike, all India. So industry-wide strikes are indirect political event. Now, they should occur continuously for 24 hours, and such occurrences should aggregate to more than 7 days in a year. Then only we consider any compensation towards that. Now, how do we compensate these things and how do we assess these things? Let's discuss. Now, political force majeure event. Here, costs will be compensated by the authority to the contractor or concessionaire. So whatever cost. So what happened during the demonetization? Tolling was suspended. The moment tolling was suspended for 26 days or whatever, 22 days, the toll loss was assessed, and towards that we were actually supposed to compensate the toll. But what we did, we have extended the concession period. Then we have given interest on debt. Then we have given maintenance component and then operation component. We have compensated everything during the political measure, force majeure event of demonetization. Then non-political event, here parties have to bear their respective costs. In the sense, if authority suffers some cost, authority will bear it. If contractor suffers some cost, contractor will bear it. So either COVID or flood or cyclone. In floods, what will happen? Generally, he has an insurance. So insurance pays them. So he will bear the cost with insurance, and if there is any additional cost, that he will bear himself. COVID also same thing. But what we gave time. So we only give time. If he says, I have lost this, we will not give. consider at all. We should not entertain such programs. It should be either a Microsoft project, or to be more precise, it is better if it is a Primavera program, because updation and means it is responsive in case of hello, there is a resound. Hello. Yeah. So in case of Primavera, it's a responsive program. And whereas in Microsoft Project, it is not a complete program. So I suggest that the contractors, we should insist on Primavera program. Now, what are the qualities of a good construction program? Number one, it should be realistic. Why I'm telling realistic? So don't think that I'm emphasizing on words which are not important. I swear, whatever I have written here, all words are important and no word is redundant. So kindly understand that part. So it should be realistic in the sense you might have faced some contractors who used to say, sir, our program is general, our contract duration is 30 months, but we have prepared a program for 24 months and we want to complete it by 24 months. We should not entertain that program. We don't want an accelerated program. We don't want an underestimated program. That 30 months contract duration, but we have prepared a program for 36 months. No, we want a program for proper contract duration. And in that, suppose a ROB is there and ROB, he plans for 2.5 years. That is unrealistic. We should say 1 year, 1.5 year, whatever, depending upon the various components involved, including the blockage, the CRS and other approvals, clearances and all, whatever, GAD, detailed designs, whatever. Those can be there, but they should be, that would be realistic. They cannot be unreasonable. You know why? If he says 2.5 years, and tomorrow, if there is a delay in doing the ROB, giving GAD clearance or something, he is going to claim 2.5 years from us. So we should see that every component is realistically estimated. That's the first quality of a good construction program. Second is it should be a micro level. Micro level in the sense we should be able to update those things, small things. If at all something is hindered, we should be able to update it. So for that reason, road portion of 1 to 2 kilometer, there should be a program for such lengths. Then culverts in that should have a different one. Then for each structure, it may be a bridge or underpass or toll plaza or any facilities. For each of them, there should be a separate program. Suppose we are not able to give time land for toll plaza, then that particular bar itself, we should be able to move. We are supposed to give here, but we have given here. So it affected the program like this. We should be able to assess. For that, each structure, there should be a different timeline. Then for the hindered works, when you are very clear on say AD plus 180 or whatever particular day or time, on that day, if such and such works are hindered and they are delinked for the purpose of completion, those things should be separately shown in the program. So then you will be able to monitor those works. Third, that is called micro level. The third one is responsive. Responsive in the sense, it should be responsive in the sense all activities should be properly linked so that the effect of delay in any activity is instantly reflected in the date of completion. Suppose one particular bar you pick and you move that bar and see what is happening to the time of date of completion. There should be change in the date of completion. Why, if there is no change, there are two reasons. One is there is a float in that activity, or second, it is not linked to the main program. You can touch the program at various places and see whether it is responsive. Then it should be resource based with the actual number of plants and equipment. If 100 kilometers is divided into 3 packages, 4 packages, and separate plants and equipment are allocated for such packages, then accordingly their numbers and other things have to be incorporated in the program. That so it should be based on resources. It cannot be just ad hoc. Then it can be tracked and kept live by updating the progress. This is where I'm telling you that Microsoft project is deficient, though they say that they can update the progress on that, but it can be manipulated also. That is what I have seen. But whereas Primavera, we'll be able to catch if something is happening. But so it can be tracked and kept live. If it cannot be tracked, so we will be able to even track it daily, at least weekly or 100% monthly, to see whether the actual date of completion, whether it is changing from our target. Then it should be linked to BOQs, raw materials, plant and equipment and cash flow. What is happening? They develop a Excel sheet separately, but when we change the program, this doesn't change. We should be able to know what is happening to the percentage progress. The most important thing, we should be able to see what is happening to the milestones. That is the reason why we want the percentage progress. 10%, 35%, 70%. So when we change the event, then what will happen to the percentage progress, we should instantly know. If we are able to maintain such program, make a program, then we are successful. Right now, these are not being connected in any project. So it will, the Excel sheet at least should show like this. So various months and the bill of quantities, then raw materials, plant and equipment, how many are required in a particular month. And if there are two, then they should, and they have only one in August, then they should be able to augment by either mobilizing one or by taking help from nearby plants. And progress, percentage progress also should be coming over here so that we understand that the things are in control. Now, how to assess extension of time? We are at 11:45 and we have 1 hour 15 minutes. Now, primarily in many of the projects, there are only three reasons. One is delay in giving vacant access and right of way. Second is force majeure, or if there is any suspension. Suspension can be due to anything. COVID suspension, now we have seen recently. Then a demonetization suspension, or whatever. So such suspension. Only these three reasons are there in many contracts. Right? So the rain, floods, bad weather, and all those things, they come in force majeure. Delay in drawings, issue of drawings, that is not there here. Okay. Now in EPC agreement, EOT will not be for the entire contract. EOT will be only for the affected works. It will not be for the whole of the project. So that's a different thing. But whereas HAM, it doesn't have, or any other BOT it doesn't have. Only in EPC case, it is like that. Only affected works, EOT will be given. And it's a good practice. We will see how it is. There can be various reasons. So for giving extension of time, if there is a delay in procuring clearances, environmental, coastal, tree cutting, utility clearances, anything, these things can be there. Issuing general arrangement drawings for ROBs and all, forest clearance, wildlife clearance, anything can be a reason for extension of time. Focus on this particular side. Now, you know that authority has to give 80% front by AD. Kindly focus. And remaining front before AD plus 90 days. That means on appointed date, 80% of the front should have been given, then only appointed date will be declared. Balance, all the land will be given within 90 days. If the authority cannot give within 90 days, then it will pay damages up to AD plus 180. So they have given only 90 days. So, and they pay damages. But all the works which were handed over within AD plus 180 have to be completed by SPCD. Whatever is given with or without damages before AD plus 180, they have to be completed by SPCD. This is there, but it is wrong. It is irrelevant. And what is supposed to be done for the balance? Authority to descope the works in the front not given in 180 days. Okay, so whatever has to be given, they give within 180 days. Whatever is not given within 180 days, it has to be descoped. Then where is the point of giving extension of time? Where is the case for time overrun? There is no case for time overrun at all. So in HAM contract, if we descope the works which were not handed over within AD plus 180 days, there is no case for any claim on account of time overrun. Here, as I have told you, whatever, then why do we give EOT? If we delink, instead of descoping, if we delink certain works, then we give extension of time only for those works. In case of EPC contract, authority to give 90% front by appointed date. And sometimes they give different fronts at different dates. That's also possible, and with damages behind. Authority to give any balance land within 80 plus X days. So most of the times this X is varying, I have seen. It may be 180 days, it may be 250 days, 246 days, 210 days, whatever. Up to that, they pay damages. And contractor to complete all such works by SPCD. This is also the same case. Whatever is given within 80 plus X days, they have to complete by SPCD. And that means he can claim COD on that date. And the other descope the works in the front not given. So where is the case for EOT here also? Where is the case for time overrun in this case also? It is not there. But if something is delinked and you want that it should be completed, then we give different EOT for affected works. Why delay occurs? Due to authority, front, drawings, decisions, COS. Decisions are very important. They have to be issued on time. If we delay the decisions, he will put it in the construction program. So this is due to authority. Contractors delay, delayed mobilization of plant, equipment, manpower, resources, bad planning, it doesn't have funds. These are the general reasons the contractor can be attributed to contractor. Then there's a third case, which is not attributable to these two. That is force majeure. It may be floods, cyclones, earthquakes, COVID, rains. Generally, we don't consider rains unless they are unprecedented and we are able to prove from the data of the last 10 years that they are unprecedented. Now, how are we doing earlier? This whatever EOT. We were waiting till the end of the project. We were taking outstanding activities. So these 5 activities, these 10 activities are balanced. Who is responsible for those activities? And then what is the time entitlement for completion of each activity? So some 10 activities are there. We assess what is the time required. The latest of completion dates of all those activities, one of that will be latest. That will be the EOT and that will be for the entire project. This is how we were doing. Now client started asking, what about contractors delay? You are giving extension because of my delay, and there could be concurrent delays. See, concurrent doesn't mean that contractor has a delay and I also have a delay. It's not like that. Concurrence also means that 2 delays can occur simultaneously, concurrently, but which are applicable to different parties. So there is no provision as to how to analyze this in case of concurrent delays. How do we do it? So every client is having his own way to do it and circulars and other things, but no circular also on a concurrent delay. Now we are doing delay analysis and coming up with a proportionate delay. Delay analysis, I'll show you how it is being done. Then after that, because we can't do we don't know what to do with that delay. Suppose there is a 50-50, 75-25. What to do with that, we don't know. We only tell that contractor, gentlemen, yours is 60 and mine is 40. So let us waive it off. Mutual waiver of claims, and then we enter into a supplementary agreement, take care of the project. Now, delay analysis. I told you that we are doing delay analysis. What is authority's delay? Scheduled date of handing over of vacant taxes. The authority is supposed to give the front on a specific day. Scheduled, actual date of handing over. So he was supposed to give it 80 plus 90. He gave it 80 plus 220. So 220 minus 90, that is 130 days, is the delay of the authority. But understand that this is not for the entire project. This is for individual small lengths, big lengths like that. What is contractor's delay? After handing over, He's supposed to complete it within, say, 100 days, but he took 200 days. So 200 minus 100 is his delay. Anticipated date of completion after handing over minus actual date of completion, that is contractor's delay. Okay. So this is authority's delay and this is contractor's delay, and these will be different for small pieces of project. How do we do it? Authority's delay. So from here to here, see here, entire project length will be covered. There will not be any gaps, small or big. So there may be many abstractions in that. Land, structures, utilities, COS, public resistance, whatever. When was that cleared? When was this cleared? This cleared, this cleared? When was COS issued? Till how long this public resistance persisted? What is the critical date? That is the latest date of all these things. And what was the scheduled date? This is certainly AD plus 90 or AD plus 180, if at all something is there like that. Difference between these two is the delay, number of days. Say it can be 500 days, but this can be only 100 meters. Okay, 100 days, 100 meters, 500 days of delay. So delay is not actually 500 days. So we get a weighted average delay. So 100 divided by 100 kilometers, 100 meters divided by 100 kilometers into 500. So that is the weighted average delay. So all the hindrances, how many ever are there, we list over here and we find out authority's delay. And once we get that weighted average delay, we add it up and that gives the number of days. We have to record the hindrances for this. So starting from AD, we need to record the hindrances. But after that, every month, we have to record. It is possible, if it is possible, last week of each month, we should visit and then we can have a video evidence, because people may claim it was there. When we take a video, it will be clear. So now drone videos are there, but we have to capture the exact hindrance. So it is better to have a separate video only for hindrances and give it as a record. Three things have to be done. One is the status of hindrances, and if there are any damages that we are supposed to pay, and what could be the time required once it is cleared. Okay. Here, one very important thing is there. See this line. Concessionaire's obligation to complete the works subsists as long as the authority pays the damages. You know that for every 1,000 square meters, 50 rupees has to be paid and such damages. Now, did you see any project where damages were paid? I haven't seen. At least they were assessed. From our side, no. In the sense from client side or from consultant side, it was never done. Even the contractor also, I don't know why he keeps quiet. He just keeps quiet. But whereas, if we don't pay the damages, if he doesn't complete it, we can't ask him. That is this clause. Obligation to complete the work subsists as long as the authority pays the damages. So we have to take a call about this. At least we should record that I owe you only so much and I'll pay you. In fact, it is better that we pay him and then we pay him and we recover it from the payments due, either escrow agreement, escrow bank, or other payable items. No. That was authority's delay. Scheduled date of handing over minus actual date of handing over. Now contractor's delay. This is scheduled anticipated date of completion minus actual date of completion. You see, this was handed over on this date of handing over. Time required for completion. This should be as per baseline. And if it was unrealistic there, then you will be assessing a wrong date over here. That is why it should be realistic. So handing over, when was it handed over? What is the time required for completion of that particular item? Then what is the expected date of completion? And what is the actual date of completion? In case of a road work, it is generally the BC date. But you have to think and see what you have to take at that particular point of time. Then the difference between these two is the delay. Again, as I have told you, this delay can be 1,000 days, but here it is only 100-meter length. See, this data should correspond to the same stretches in the previous table. Authorities delay, same table, so that you appreciate what is the authority's delay and what is contractor's delay, and we get the weighted delay based on the length. Look at this, the delay analysis. There are 4 cases over here. It says even though delay is there, you need not consider that delay. So that kind of an outcome is there in this. So you can look at it. AD plus 90. He was supposed to, authority is supposed to give land here. Authority gives here. So this is authority's delay. After giving, he is supposed to complete at this location, at this date. But he didn't complete. He has completed here. So this is concessionaire delay. But you see, this is completed before SPCD. There is no effective delay due to the delay of authority or this. That's the reason why authority's delay is 0 here. And concessionaire's delay or contractor's delay is 0 here. In this case, similarly, we are supposed to give land here, but we gave here. So the whole delay is this, but the delay will be, and he's supposed to complete here, but he has completed here. This is supposed to be concessionaire's delay. Concessionaire's delay remains the same, but authority's delay will be from this point to this point. Here we have to consider the entire delay beyond SPCD, and it should be apportioned like this. This delay, though it has occurred, it will not be considered in the delay analysis. Coming to this point, here the actual delay is only so much. Though there is an authority's delay here, because even if it was there, he was supposed to complete here. So this delay is only attributed to contractor. Authority's delay is 0. And similarly, 4th case, authority's delay is here, but concessionaire's delay is here. So this is authority's delay and this is concessionaire's delay. Because he was supposed to complete by this point. So up to this point, authority is supposed to bear. So this is authority's delay. Beyond this, it is concessionaire's delay. And only critical delays are considered for any party. Critical means beyond SPCD, whatever delay has occurred, that will be considered as delay, and then delay analysis is done. Non-critical delays of a contractor are excused. Non-critical delays of authority, if it is due to land, delay damages are paid. Now, here the main thing, see, now as a consultant, I am relying on the construction program to determine the extension of time, not by ad hoc, not by individual handling of individual items. So there, the weighted average delay and all, they will not give the exact delays, authorities delay, say, this can be 100 days, say, and contractor's delay is 200 days. What is the total? 300 days. But the actual delay might be 600. That is the problem with weighted average delays. Okay. So these delays, they cannot aggregate to the actual delay. Now, how to find out that absolute delay? How to do it? What is authority responsible for and what is contractors responsible for? We have to take the realistic baseline program. In one of the project, in fact, 2 projects, I have actually revised the baseline program because at this point of time, I found that was not realistically made. It was manipulated. So I have revised that to make it a realistic baseline program. On that program, please focus, I update the hindrances. That means one stretch is hindered. So I push that activity to the new date. By this time, if that hindrance is removed, it can be pushed to the actual date. If it is not removed, then it can be pushed to the cutoff date. By updating the program with hindrances, it is an impacted program, and the shift in the date of completion gives the authorities delay. Scheduled project completion date is a different thing. But his program scheduled date is the scheduled date. By updating the hindrances, if it is shifted by 100 days, authority delay is 100. That's pakka. Authorities delay, there is no problem at all in assessing authorities delay. Now we take this impacted program, which is updated by hindrances, then update the progress. In the sense, as on this date, this activity is supposed to be 100% complete, but he has completed only 50%. We write that 50% in that place. Then it calculates itself the time required for balance 50%, and the bar changes. Similarly, when we update each and every bar based on the remaining percentage, it and the time that we have given for the total activity, the bar is pushed, and then it becomes a revised program. It pushes the whole project to say 300 days. That is also inclusive of authorities delay. So 100 days is here, and this total is 300. 300 minus 100 is 200, and that 200 is contractor's delay. So many times client asks me, when I say that, sir, I am giving so much time, because 100 days, so I am giving 100 days EOT. They come up and say, no, he did not do this, he did not do that. There are so many activities that he did not do. You are not considering, you are only taking 100 days. I tell them, sir, please see, his delays will be reflected here. But if he crosses this date, he will have to pay damages. Please understand that. So even if it is concurrent delay or anything, that will be captured at this location. So let us start the practice of having a realistic baseline program, responsive program, micro level program, resource-based program, and trackable program, and all that stuff. With that only, and if it is linked to percentage progress, then only we will be able to evaluate milestones, time required for milestones. Otherwise, it is not possible. Now, what are we doing for milestones? You know that schedule G or H or J, whatever, I'm sorry. So there, whether it is stated that if you extend one milestone, all the milestone will be extended to the same thing. Even the scheduled project completion date also will be extended if we extend one milestone. By default, it is there. So now if 100 days, 100 days will be applied to all the milestones. Whereas if you have linkage to the percentage progress, we can clearly see when 10% was getting completed as per the earlier program, and by impacting what is the percentage, when exactly we are getting that 10%. So that will be the EOT for that particular milestone. I hope you have understood. So end of the session, you can always ask questions on this slide. I can put back this slide later also. So that is regarding the program. Now completion certificate. We are at 12:06. In the next half an hour, we'll try to complete this. Completion certificate, people have a lot of doubts. When we are going to issue a provisional certificate, see, first of all, when the contractor gives a request, it has to be immediately addressed, because he says he is supposed to notify us before 30 days of the anticipated COD. We have to immediately check whether he has given these things, whether he has given his proposal for punch list. Punch list in the sense, sir, you give me COD, but on that day, I will not be completing this. I'll be putting some work, those works in punch list. So give me the punch list. Except that, I will verify whether other works are completed. Second, he is also supposed to give me what are the hindered works. These works I will not be able to complete because I cannot go there. They are hindered. So he gives that list also. So I will see that these two lists are separated and I will verify whether other works are complete. Now, he is also supposed to give me the other works, in the sense outstanding work, which he intends to complete, because he might be thinking that I'll have to complete only 4 works, 5 works. But if we go around the site, we may be able to identify 100 works. We have to agree on what he is supposed to complete on the date of PCC. If we don't agree, he will also be not clear. On that day, on the last day, you will say, you have not done this, you have not done this, you have not done this. He says, sir, आप पहले बोलना चाहिए था. Right. So that is the reason why they should give this outstanding works which they want to complete before issuing the certificate. Now, when we go over this once again, punch list is supposed to complete within 90 days after issuing the PCC in case of HAM or BOT, and it is 30 days in case of EPC. Hindered works, whenever we give, then within a reasonable time, he will complete after clearing the hindrance. The third one, they must be completed before issuing the certificate. We have to give them before that. Gentlemen, if you have to get the crash barrier tested, it should be put in the C. You have to see that the rehabilitation works are done. Don't think that only main works and new works are counted. The structural rehabilitation you are supposed to do. I want that before the PCC. And I want testing of the load testing of the bridges and other structures also to be done before issuing the certificate. I have to put all those things. Many contractors say, why should I give all these things, sir? No, you must give it. So list A is punch list, list B is hindered works, list C is outstanding works, and list D is list of works not being put in commercial operations. There are some projects which require that if 75% of the project is complete, then they will give PCC. So the rest of the 25% will come in this, and we don't talk about that. Similarly, 10 kilometers is affected by forest clearance. We put that. Now, when we go to site, what do we see for assessing the readiness of the structure, readiness of the project highway for issuing PCC? The first thing is, see, this is true for EPC also, though I have mentioned it as a concessionaire. All the works from shoulder to shoulder, when we go on the road, from shoulder to shoulder, everything should be complete. Black and white. You know what is black and white? Black is the wearing course, white is the pavement marking. Then color, that is the signboards and various signboards, including hazard markers, and then the studs, safety appurtenances. So including maintenance, median plantation, all those works from shoulder to shoulder should be complete. That's the first requirement. Second requirement is high embankment portions should be complete. That means otherwise it is not safe. Because what are we doing in PCC? We are declaring that this project highway is legally and safely and reliably placed in can be placed in commercial operations. Reliably. So tomorrow, if pitching is not there and if this high embankment comes down due to pores, rains, so pitching is required. That is the reliability aspect of it. In one of the projects, I can name the project also. It is in Karnataka, and it was not pitched properly, and there was heavy rain, and due to super elevated portion, entire water gushed through the slopes, and slopes were completely eroded. And then just beside the slope, there was a village, and the whole village was inundated. And imagine what will happen. And the drain also was kept in punch list. And those chutes and other things, and those chambers below, those were also not built. And it was hell. So all high embankment portions have to be done, including pitching. And it's draining, drains and other things. They have to be secure. Signboards, pavement marking, HTMS, safety appurtenances. See, when we say commercial operations, toll plaza is important because tolling will be done. And incident management, these ambulances, cranes, then patrolling vehicles, and all that stuff. They are also supposed to be ready. If they are not, it can be put on. It can't be put on commercial operations. Signboards are important. Pavement marking is important. Any HTMS. See, the one standard thing is that these ECBs they are not useful. Then optical fiber, I'm not able to put it in the entire project because there are breaks in the alignment. You have not given me land here, so tomorrow I may be constructing here. So if we put an optical fiber cable, I'll be working out there. So these are all the things that, so except those, if we are able to properly cover them, it is fine. If the OFC's cable is put on the shoulders, say, then we are not going to work on the shoulders, we are only going to work below. So it depends, something like that. So now for commercial operations, tolling is important and incident management is important. And studs, safety studs, then your cameras and the control room which connects these cameras and all. See, if he is not able to put the optical fiber cable and then he says that I'm not able to connect these cameras with the optical fiber cable, so I cannot give you display of the cameras. No, no, you have to provide some Wi-Fi facility so that those cameras are put to use, right? So that is how we have to. Now, what can be included in punch list? In some contracts they have written, but where it is not written, turfing, pitching, drains, junctions, etc. at identified locations only. Not that entire turfing is left out, entire pitching is left out, all of them are left out. And you know, nobody completes the punch list works within time. I have never seen, I have given so many CODs till now, more than 50, 60, but I have never seen anyone completing punch list on time. Rest areas, truck labels, etc. with the approval authority we can put, but not all the, say bus base and other things. No, they should be completed at the time of PCC only. So at identified locations only, that is first thing. Second thing is what should be going on these locations. He has not put people there. Nothing is going on over there. An entire project, they have not done anything on this. We should not include them in punch list. And another very important thing is the concessionaire, whatever is being put in punch list, he should be able to complete them in 90 days or 30 days. There is no point in giving 30 days time and give a lot of work, so much work that he needs 180 days to complete it. Right? So these are the things that we have to be careful in drawing the punch list, the list A. Here, one important thing I want to tell you. Now, list A must be completed within 90 days or 30 days in case of EPC contractors. Now, they will be given some time. I don't think it is there in EPC. It is only in case of HAM and other things. We have got a time of 120 days to complete beyond 90 days with damages. Now, you know what is happening? These people are not completing the punch list. I'll tell you in a couple of projects in Telangana, we have given provisional completion certificates 10 years back ourselves. Then after 10 years, we have come as an O&M consultant on the same project and completion certificate was not given and punch list items were still remaining. Now we have given a proposal for giving the punch list items. Meanwhile, all the consultants, they have listed the damages. The damages are in terms of a few crores, not 1, 2. It is more than 50 crores, 60 crores, something like that. Now the question is, can you really levy damages for so long? 90 to 120 days, 90 plus 120, it is 210 days. So non-completion within 210 days may lead to termination of the concession. Why didn't you terminate him? Why did you keep him? You should have terminated. Or at least we should have got it done by a third party if those things are important. We have not got them done. So it was our own problem as an authority. I should have either done it or I should have got them done through a third party. I didn't do anything and I kept on levying punch list damages. To give you a corollary, it's something like the batsman in cricket, he hits the ball and the ball goes out of the stadium. And then the people, they are running between the wickets. वो बॉल नहीं मिल रहा है, ये तो रन मारते जा रहे हैं, मारते जा रहे हैं. So this is what is the corollary to this. वो कंप्लीट नहीं कर रहा है, आप उससे कंप्लीट नहीं करवा रहे हैं, and then you are still levying damages. So in conciliation, I am clearly recommending to people that you cannot levy damages beyond 120 days. Case of levy of damages eternally. You can't levy damages eternally. Yeah. Time is 12:18. Financial aspects. Now, let us not think that these financial aspects are not ours. It's very much ours. It is important that they open an escrow account. And all funds should be routed through escrow account. What kind of funds come? Number one, equity from the parties in the SPV. Equity has to come. Debt from the lenders. Lenders directly put them in the escrow account. Then there could be a grant that comes from client. And there could be a toll where 4-lane to 6-lane projects are there. People are allowed to toll them. So toll also comes. So anything that comes into the project should be routed through escrow. They should be put in escrow only. Otherwise, it is called escrow default. If they operate any other account and if the money is put into that account, then it is called escrow default. And all the money should be removed from this account only, and then they should be put into various sub accounts. So say they want to pay EPC contractors, there should be EPC sub account to this escrow account. Taxes, revenues, and in many projects there are more than 15 sub accounts, so that all the things are properly routed. So there can be a O&M account, there can be a maintenance account, there can be maintenance reserve account, so that we clearly identify what is going where. It is not only important for the contractor or concessionaire, it is also important for us to understand how much toll has come till now since PCC or since appointed date. Straight away open the escrow account of that sub account of that EPC toll revenue, then you will understand how much taxes have been paid. Did he pay any taxes or not? You know, people even invest. So now it's a question whether these concessionaires can invest their funds if at all something is remaining. Funds have come from the lenders, but these people are not able to do the construction for whatever reason, due to the pace of construction or due to non-availability of this thing. So funds are still there. So now they can't park the funds eternally because they are paying interest to the lenders also. So they can always invest in some place, mutual funds or something. But the auditors come and they say that this fellow is using public money for his own purposes. Whereas, in my opinion, it is allowed to invest. But project cannot suffer. Project cannot suffer. Project should go on. So we have to be cautious about that. So now there is one chance of escrow default. Why it comes? You remember when they sign the agreement, the development period starts, and appointed date will be declared only when the financial closure is done. That means escrow account will be opened on appointed date. Within those 6 months, he is supposed to do surveys, he is supposed to do designs, and he has to expend many things during that period. Where will he put? Because escrow account will be opened only upon signing the only upon
Valla.
yeah. So it will be signed, sorry, escrow account will be opened only upon financial closure, that is on appointed date. Then so much of expenditure is happening during the development period. Where will you put it? He is supposed to put an account, put money in a different account. So now what will happen to that money? So it is always important that the concessionaire chooses the right escrow bank for his first account, and he opens the account in that bank, and when the appointed date is declared and when the financial closure is done and an escrow account is opened, in fact, this account would be converted into an escrow account so that there is no default. So this planning has to be done, but they don't planning. They are in fact comfortable having a different account because they can do some funny things. They can withdraw the mobilization advance. They can withdraw many things into that and then route it to somewhere else. Then we have to identify that it's an escrow default. And also, periodically, he is supposed to submit balance sheets, profit and loss account, cash flow statements, and statutory auditor certificates. Of course, he is supposed to submit every time when he has to prove his percentage progress. See, this milestone is to be completed. So towards that, he's supposed to submit the statutory auditor certificate. So these other things also quarterly we have to see. You may not understand, but by studying these things, I have given escrow default notices to a couple of concessionaires, and they were put into serious situation. So we will be able to identify. We can watch the advances. We can watch investments and diversion of funds, if any, from these statements. Now the claims. And this is mainly prevention of claims. Time overrun, cost overrun, these are the primary reasons. Because when there is a delay in completion, there will be a time overrun. When there is an increase in cost, there is a cost overrun, and they result into claims. Best method is to avoid claims. Now there are 3 slides over here. We have to freeze the scope at the time of commencement. If all the parties single-mindedly work on freezing the scope of work at the time of commencement and completing the works time on time, then most of the time related claims would be avoided. If you remember, I was telling you that up to 80 plus 180, whatever is given, that is agreed as scope. After that, rest of the items are works are either descope or delinked for completion. Then he has to complete these things in time by SPCD. He cannot claim anything. The moment it is abstracted or the moment it is not handed over, it is already either descoped or delinked. So there will not be any time related claim on this. Okay. And now when you come to cost related, this is very important. I have put certain things in one of my paper. I have asked the organizers to give a PDF of that paper to all the people in this group. Please go through the paper for cost related claims, how to handle the DPR. I tried to put something there. And if you can do it, kindly do it at your own level instead of waiting for a policy for that, then it can be done. So if the employer, DPR consultants and bidders, and finally successful bidder in that order, focus on achieving absolute clarity in the scope of work. There should not be any ambiguities and omissions in the contract documents before signing the contract. We are always in a hurry to sign the contract. And you know some reasons, somebody might be after us, so we have to sign the contract. We don't give clear replies to the pre-bid queries. We always say as per RFP. Because if we want to give something, either it has to be approved by the committee, or sometimes it may have to go to the ministry, or sometimes it may have to go even above the ministry. So we are worried. But if you spend time there, then certain problems can be sorted out once for all. So pre-bid queries have to be properly handled. I have more suggestions. In fact, if time permits, we'll go over the paper. And I'll tell you what exactly I have presented over there. And end of the day, before signing the contract, the contractor sits, say, for 3 days, 4 days, and studies all the documents. And he compares the whole thing with a drone video. In fact, I suggest that a drone video should be given with commentary to the bidders. it would be available in the website. So they can go over the drone video, and the comments are being given that here it is widened to the left side, here it is widened to the right side, and here VUP is provided, and here we were supposed to provide a VUP, but people have objected, so we are not giving the VUP, because that is also important. Tomorrow, if there's a public representation, then we should know why it was not provided. We should not write a letter to DPR consultant as to why he has missed out, and we will take action, show cause, all that. Instead of that, we should know why certain thing is not provided. And he may actually, he in the sense DPR consultant, he should give certain comments, commentary along with the drone video. And the bidders can go over it over and over again and find out whether things are in order, whether the scope is clear to him. And before the bid date itself, the scope is clear. And before signing of the contract, he does all these things and says, I understand the scope and I am not going to raise any claim on you for the scope written in this contract. If he does that, he will not raise any cost related claim. The third one is document related claims. There are certain gray areas in the contract. Those gray areas, even though contractor knows, he doesn't tell us. He keeps it with them so that he would exploit those gaps and then claim. So if the parties decide not to exploit the gaps in the document, more so when they do not suffer any loss, they don't suffer any loss, but still they want to exploit the gaps, then interpretation claims also could be minimized. So in fact, these things should be handled even before signing the contract. But if something is still left out, that should be minimized. So the aim of all the stakeholders should be to work as a team and put the national interest ahead of personal priorities. And gaps should be identified and ironed out before signing of the agreement itself. So this is with this, I think we'll be able to prevent the document-related claims also. So the clue is simple. Complete all the works in the front made available within a reasonable time before SPCD. In the sense, 6 months before SPCD, we have given certain works, not only AD plus 180. Beyond AD plus 180 also, 6 months before SPCD, certain front was made available to him. If the contractor completes them by SPCD and he claims PCC, whether you are able to put it on commercial operations or not. If he does that, there will not be any contractual issue because his annuities will be intact. Now in Tamil Nadu, there is one project. 45 kilometers out of 50 kilometers is greenfield. And there are many problems in the greenfield. The contractor is planning to complete everything except the gaps in that 45 kilometers. Okay. So even after that, traffic will not be able to use that greenfield alignment. But we have to give PCC to him and make him eligible for claiming annuities. Then only contract related problems will not be there. Right? So we have to just watch the date. When is SPCD and all? In the other program where actually I personally give a training in IAHE, there I give at least 10-15 case studies. In one of the project, those people have written the date of completion at every place, in canteens, in offices, on the road, everywhere they have written, and they have marked it as Nischayam. I mean, we have decided that we are going to complete this on this date. They have written this on commencement date. And they have completed the project 100 days ahead of that Nischayam. So once we decide that we'll be completing on that date, everybody will, means all energies will flow towards that. Similarly, I know another contractor who actually floods the site with equipment, with materials, with resources during the development period itself. He knows that he is going to achieve the financial close and he is going to commence the project on appointed date. He knows everything. So during the development period itself, he will make everything ready. I know another contractor who does the designs even before signing of the agreement. I don't know how he knows. The moment he is declared as a lowest bidder, he starts the designs. AE is not there, IE is not there, nobody is there. And he also commences works during the development period. And he's far ahead when the appointed date is signed. I don't know whether it is legally correct or not, but those people have completed the project 1 year ahead of schedule. 1 year. And they almost claimed 50 crores of bonus. It took time to clear that bonus, but after all the scrutiny and all that, that bonus was paid. And the other person, he has completed 8 months ahead of schedule, and he commenced tolling. So it is basically the contractor. What are we supposed to do? We are supposed to only give clearances, decisions, and we should not stop him. We should not try to twist the arms. Some of the clients means they are very less in number. They don't want to give clearances. They don't want to pay on time. They will twist the arms in the sense if you want payment, then you have to do this work, you have to do that work. It is okay, it is project work only, but why? So we have to be with the contractor, we have to be with the consultant and to see that things are done within the time. So more or less I have completed. It is 12:35. It depends on how people want to pose questions now. I'll I'll open it for questions.
Sir, you told that minimum wages will be considered as change in law as per some direction of courts. We already have escalation formulas in our EPC and other contracts. So how it can be accommodated? In other items, concessionaire may also demand for change. Your voice is not audible, sir.
I'm so sorry. See, I have not told that I am admitting it. I have only told that the court's verdict should be explicit. It should state that minimum wages, increase in minimum wages shall be change in law. It should be so explicit. There should not be any scope for interpretation while reading the Supreme Court verdicts or judgments. That is what I have told.
Okay.
So I'm not admitting it. It is in case of this thing. See, because anyway, go for more questions. Then I will deal one important aspect of prolongation damages, or what is that? Prolongation claims. I will discuss on that.
Another question. Another
Yeah.
question is, at some slide you have shown that global EOT after appointment date plus 180 days. Uh, is this applicable for whole project or for that part only which has not been given after 90 days of AD?
Yeah. So what I wanted to say there was only in EPC contract we have extension of time for the affected works. Whereas in HAM, it is not written like that. It is for the whole of the project. That is what I meant by saying a global EOT. It is for the entire project. Whenever we are giving only in EPC, it is for affected works, and in other type of projects, it is becoming global. But if you understand what I said about descoping and delinking and all, there is no question of EOT for whole of the project. In fact, many clients, they are telling me there is no question of EOT for a HAM project. I am not going to give and all. Okay, I will take you through the paper which I have published in one of the magazine. Here, this is about prevention of disputes and claims. I requested IAHE to give a copy in WhatsApp. I told here zero time overrun. This is the objective. How we should go here, zero time overrun. And micro level construction program, I tried to tell here how it is supposed to be done. Then delay analysis using construction program, how to do it. Whatever I have told you about impact program, revised program, absolute delay to authority, of authority, absolute delay due to contractor, whatever is there, I have tried to explain in this program, in this paper. Then limitation of claims. Limitation of claims in the sense, a project is cost only say 100 crores or 150 crores, claims come up to 300 crores. So there is no comparison. And another thing, what I mean by limitation of claims is claims should be restricted to the foregone concession period. In the sense, the project delays by 100 days. 100 delays, 100 days, and daily say 30 lakhs. 30 into 100 lakhs is 30 lakhs into 100 days is 30 crores. He should not claim 100 crores claim. Okay. So it should be restricted to foregone concession period in case of this, and to the last annuities in case of build operate BOT annuity model projects. Okay. So otherwise, EPC and HAM projects are adequately protected against time-related claims if the employer is vigilant and exercises prompt control on the scope of the project. And of course, maintenance of proper records and analysis enables the employer to manage or counter the claims. Okay. Now, zero cost overrun. In fact, project preparation, if it is done by a proper consultant, things should be okay. But public consultation, I will give you an example of a project where we have prepared the entire proposal, all the schedules, and we prepared a presentation. Then we called the local representatives. Local representatives, in the sense, including the party people who are heading the state. So that gentleman has come, and district administration has come, and other departments of public and important local representatives, they have come, and we have presented the whole thing. So these are the villages at this location. We have provided like this. Here it goes to left, here it goes to right, and all those. And then we have given they have questioned us there itself. But after that, we have given time to the local R&B and other departments. They have told you should provide something here. We have planning like this. You are only providing a 2-lane ROB, whereas we are going 2-lane underpass, whereas we are going to 4-lane it within next 4 years. So please provide a 4-lane underpass, something like that. So when that thing is done, and after that, we should see that the minutes are signed, and they should sign that everyone has understood the provisions made and the reasons for not providing certain facilities, why we have not provided, they also understood that, and that they would neither raise any request or demand for a new facility during the construction period, nor would they stop the works while they are being executed. During the public consultation, if such thing is organized in front of the district administration, then there won't be a problem. And if at all such an issue rises during the construction, they agree that the employer would take it up after completion of the works during O&M period and all. And a video record of the public consultation should be maintained by the employer. If such thing is done, at least completion will be done, project will be completed on time. After that, okay, you need an underpass, and we'll provide that during O&M period. There will not be any contract related claims. Now, bidding, employer should organize a reconnaissance site visit for the bidders along with the DPR consultants. Now bidders are not coming, and PD won't visit also. So all the bidders should go. All the bidders should compulsorily attend the site visit. Take time and review the DPR with respect to the works to be performed, the time and other schedules at the site itself. So they should provide the inputs at the site itself so that the documents are modified if it is required. A drone video of the entire site with commentary of the provisions may also be provided to the bidders for a fee if you want, so that they could vet the proposals, ask queries if necessary, and make more informed bid submission. Employer should respect the gravity of the queries being asked and provide proper replies so that they won't. Okay. And an addendum must be part of the document where the scope changed consequent to clarification. Suppose sir, is written that 2-lane has to be modified to 4-lane. Then employer says yes. Schedule of addendum and clarification should be understood. Clarification should only clarify what is written over there. It cannot change the scope of the document by clarification. So when there is an award of contract, successful bidder should re-review the documents for the adequacy and consistency in consonance with the scope of work before signing the agreement. Undertake that. He had seen the site, he has reviewed the documents and satisfied himself on the adequacy and consistency of the documents. Manual is writing something, schedule is writing something, so there is no inconsistency we have changed, has understood and agrees the scope of work and shall not raise any claims on account of the scope of work included in the contract. Okay, and of course, deletion of the thing and delink that's what we have written, and also that not to entertain any public representations or change of scope on such account during the construction period, and if the parties agree to provide such facilities, delink them from the completion schedule. All COIs should be delinked. So such an initiative would freeze the scope and duration of the contract before signing of the contract, which in turn would avoid any cost related claims. Document related claims, in fact, during before signing the contract itself, they should discuss on these ambiguities, omissions, and interpretations. They should be removed. So, see, there is one aspect I have addressed here, that is delays and deemed approvals. I leave it to you. I will leave it to you. Then revisions in circulars. A circular is issued, but it is not supposed to be part of the contract. So when we apply it to the contract, then it becomes a claim for him. Undertakings and supplementary agreements, whether they are legal or not, it was addressed here. And awards for, anyway, I have given. And whatever I have put in the last 3 slides is picked from here. Okay. So that's it. So more questions?
Sir, good afternoon. My name is Dilip Patil.
Mr. Dilip.
Hello.
I have been seeing that you are going off and coming back quite often.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, there's some network issues were there.
I know that's the reason.
Yeah.
Earlier, I was having a feeling that people are not interested in my session and they are leaving.
No, sir. It was
Later,
very
I understood.
informative, actually. This kind of minute study you have done, that is very fabulous. But the issue is that how much we are able to implement in our particularly ham mechanism, because this eye is there and all these things. So that is one issue. And sir, another question was that in this ham, the financial models are given, and in financial model they are quoting the EPC cost. So is it some kind of benchmark for us to see that their EPC cost are limited to the financial model EPC cost? That was another query. And third was, is there any kind of privity of the agreement between authority, concessionaire, and his EPC contractor?
Priority is always the main contract. See, another thing that we have to address, which I have not told you, is there is no priority set between Schedule B, C, and D.
No, privity of agreement, sir.
I know.
Privity of
There,
contract.
I have answered you. I have answered you
Yeah.
directly. The main agreement is top. And then we are not here to interpret what is below that. They don't form part of our agreement. So we are
Yeah.
not there to interpret them and take it as a priority in deciding things. We only see that they are reasonable, they are correct, the EPC document and O&M document, but they don't form part of the contract between the authority and the concessionaire or the contractor. So that is priority is over. I was only trying to mention that there is no priority between B, C, and D. Suppose in D something is written and B nothing is written. But the D cannot form scope of work unless there is a link between B and D. So B and C are the primary scopes. So, but our documents do not have that priority between Schedule B and C and D. So that's what I'm. And regarding EPC cost in ham, what exactly is the problem? Because I think in ham, what is the bid parameter? The bid parameter is the cost.
Bid project cost as well as first year
Cost
O&M
and the
cost. It was
maintenance
earlier.
cost.
Now they have removed that.
Now, what is the
It is
bid parameter?
bid project cost.
Bid project cost and even maintenance cost also, no, for the first year.
Yeah, but since last 6 months, that has been deleted. So only now we are taking this bid project cost, not first year O&M cost.
But then I am not giving first year O&M cost in the documents. They
No,
have to.
formula is there, sir, and on that formula, the bid project cost, that is based on this bid project cost, O&M cost are paid.
Okay.
So
I
he has
have
not, he does not have to quote figure for that first year O&M cost.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So now what is there to control? What is there to control? Bid project cost is quoted, and whoever is quoting a reasonable cost that is to our advantage, we are agreeing to that, and then we are going ahead. So what is there to control in that cost? In one of the cases, I will tell you, I think I have answered the question, but connected to that, I will tell you something. In one project in West, a request has come to me to change the flexible pavement to the rigid pavement. So now it's a ham project. I have estimated the flexible cost and I have estimated the rigid cost. And then I have seen that around 60 crores is the variation. So which has to be given as a change of scope. Suddenly I have understood that the maintenance component of the flexible payment.
Flexible.
Every 5 years, we are supposed to put the periodic overlay, and each is around 25 crores, I believe. So it's about 75 crores. And if I and rigid pavement maintenance
Life
cost
cycle
is
cost, basically life cycle cost. Yeah.
but there it is only. I'm only talking about. See, if you see the routine maintenance cost, I think rigid pavement is only 4 lakhs per kilometer for 4 lane. That means 1 lakh per lane kilometer. And if you see the flexible pavement, it's about 3.5 lakhs per 4 kilometers. That means around 90 lakhs per lane kilometer. So there is not much difference between the routine maintenance. But there is no periodic maintenance in the rigid pavement, and there is a periodic maintenance in flexible pavement, and that is almost 75 crores, and the change of scope is only 60 crores. Actually, this variation is minus 15 crores. Now, when I went to the maintenance cost provided, the maintenance cost provided is around 10 crores per annum. That in the hand. So now the 10 into 15 is about 150 crores. So now that 150 minus 75, whether it is, and I have seen my DPRs. In the DPRs, I am not providing the periodic overlay. I am only giving the civil cost. I'm not giving a periodic overlay. So where is it? And he is giving a bit project cost. That bit project cost doesn't have maintenance included, periodic maintenance included. So with all this, I was literally confused. Anyway, I told the contractor, it is better that you construct only flexible pavement and don't ask me any COS for rigid pavement. Don't go for it. So this is one thing that I wanted to share with you. So maintenance is required. I'll just go over it as to why they have removed and how it is going to help the concessionaire or the authority. Thank you for asking those questions.
Thank you, sir.
Other participants are also requested, if they have any questions, please ask your questions.
Sir, I wanted to know, is there any provision of sectional completion? Because you said that after issuing punch list, 10 years was elapsed, but the work was not completed in all sense. So is there any provision of sectional completion? And second question is, as we came to know that authorities engineer only review the design and the final responsibility of design lies with the contractor. So, is this make any sense? Because if A is not given his review and the project was carried upon the design of the contractor. And third question is, you said that deletion of the scope will be as per current SOR or mid time of SOR of that period, construction period. And Schedule H was defined during the agreement. So if after designing some component, the weightage of that particular component get reduced or enhanced, so Schedule H may adjusted accordingly. So does it make any sense that deletion will be as per the H, as per Schedule H, and any modification will be as per SOR, sir?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for those questions. See, I tried to remember the questions. So the number one was whether there was any sectional completion. See, when we have given the provisional completion certificate, the main carriageway was complete and the service roads were complete, and whatever was not complete was hindered at that point, and some more items were there which were supposed to be completed. For whatever reason, there was a change of ownership and all that stuff. They could not complete those, and then now it was also a BOT project. So in BOT project, there is nothing like a sectional completion. The whole project has to be given, right? So there was nothing like a sectional completion. Then second question was, I'm so sorry.
About the review of design by the authority.
Yeah. See, between the authority and the consultant, there is nothing like concessionaire is responsible. Between the authority and the authority engineer, authority engineer is responsible for accurate reviews. Even if he is vested with some 25% responsibility to review the RFIs and all, he is 100% responsible, or he is responsible for 100% quality. Between authority and authority engineer, there is nothing. But between authority and the concessionaire is fully responsible for the accuracy of the designs. That is what, if you see the paper there is deemed approval and all, go through that. It will be sent to you today itself. So go through that part, deemed approval. There I have dealt it. So between the, see, there is a clause in BOT, if you remember, that the contractor submits the designs to the authority also, and authority may review them and comment them within 30 days. Even if he doesn't give any comment, then it is the concessionaire's responsibility to go ahead with that. So that's kind of a deemed approval from authority side or authority engineer side. So you read that particular para where I have written delays and deemed approvals, then you will be able to appreciate it. But the answer for your question is authority engineer and independent engineer are fully responsible for accuracy of the designs, whatever they have reviewed to the authority, right? That's the second question. And the third question was,
Of the revision of Schedule H.
yeah, see, it is written in the EPC document, if I remember correctly, that if at all authority is not able to provide ROW, and for that reason, if a particular thing is being descoped, then it will be evaluated as per Schedule H. It is written over there. Now, as a practice, whatever is being modified, we are trying to do it with current SOR, because if at all the contractor does not agree to do this, and if we have to get it done through somebody else, then it should be current SOR. So the work will be, both the positive and negative will be evaluated as per the current SOR, and that will be given to him. He may deny to do so. He may deny the change of scope. That is the reason why we do it like that. I hope I have addressed your queries.
Sir.
Thank you. Anything more, sir? All are learned engineers who are there. I have all respects for the people who are.
Sir, one more query, sir.
Yeah.
One more query. Suppose my Schedule C gives a certain number of street lights, 100 street lights, but afterwards I found out that I do require more street lights as per the codal norms, as per this site requirements. Then
See, I don't know whether you have completed the question, but Schedule C never gives the number of poles. It only gives that lighting should be provided in urban areas, semi-urban areas, rural areas, habited areas, or something like built-up areas and all. That is one. Second thing, it also gives probably on the structures, it will give, and it gives the lux requirement. So if there is a more length, in the sense it never gives even the length also. It only gives that you have to provide here toll plazas like that. So there will not be a number. I have never seen an agreement where it is these numbers are given. It's only where it is supposed to be given.
yes, thank you, sir.
Anything more, sirs? It is 1 o'clock.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Can you tell me, Kaji?
Sir, regarding this is base date, sir. Base date and of now.
I'm having difficulty in listening to you.
Sir, regarding base date and change of law.
Change of law, okay, change in law.
And
I think we have a difficulty. What I suggest, please note down my email ID, kishore_mk@rv.net. Any of you, if you have any issue anytime in your project, you can write to me, and I promise you that I will give a prompt reply the moment I see it. Vijay Kumar ji, आप इसमें लिखिएगा, because I'm really not able to listen to you. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Please share the mail ID, sir.
I think I have not shared it, so I'll share this.
Sir,
Thank
we have already shared, sir. We have already shared your email ID with the participants.
Okay. See, I'm always, I see, I have been giving these sessions across the country in some other CII conferences and all other things. I want to be involved in these issues. You can always send me a line on this mail ID. You can always even call me also. I have received calls from many people, many times in the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your presentation as well as your knowledge with the participants. And thank you to also the participant to listen carefully
Sir,
and
one last query, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, actually, some of our BOT projects are quite old. They were constructed when codes were prevalent codes. Now, with the subsequent revision in the codes, safety norms are changed. Now we are talking. No, we are not providing this RCC railings. It is being crash barrier, New Jersey type crash barriers. One recent tragedy also is. Testimonial to this need for the upgradation in the safety requirements due to this revision in the codal norms. But our constitution always says that when we constructed this, built this project, the prevalent norms were according to prevalent norms we have constructed. And now, if you are asking for revision in these codes and this revision in the facility, then it is tantamount to change of scope. And whereas our version is that this because this codal revision is there, you are collecting the toll, which is again linked with the price escalation and WPI. So it is your safety obligations like that. So what should be our correct stand?
Your argument may not stand, rather our argument, I would say, may not stand. So if it actually tantamounts to expenditure, then it is better that we give. See, signboards 2001 is different, 2012 is different. There is a cost difference. 1 or 2 crores of change of scope, it is good to give. Then even what is happening in crash barriers, MBCBs also have to be crash tested. We have a test track in Indore. Now we are able to do that there. But none of the people are doing the crash testing. On top of that, they are reducing the interval, they are reducing the depth of the stem, they are removing the spacers between the horizontal beam and the vertical post, all that. And they are putting it just like that, and they say that you have to clear it. And we have approved there, we got it approved here and all. So whereas NHA or anybody has not cleared anything like that. So look at the design that they are submitting for MBCBs, and whether it is as per the agreement and whether they are crash tested, because it is written. So now, primarily coming back to the question, if there is any change in the code and if you want that a better provision has to be provided, it will be change of scope. We don't. And see, be kind to him, be reasonable to him. If he has to spend money, then we have to give him a change of scope, because your financial model will not cover all these things. So you can always rely on the financial model. If we had time, we would have seen those also, where all I am asking that they should go back to the financial model and tell me whether it is really affecting them. Right. So give them change of scope, please.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now I think we can conclude this session. Thank you very much to the participants also. Okay, Neeraj ji, now please finish the meeting now.
Yes, sir.